Today is Friday, June 28th, 2024. We are heading up Dry River Trail today. Pretty far. It's past the intersection with Isolation Trail, I believe. We're going to be going up Mount Eisenhower Trail, which is new to us, and probably summiting Eisenhower unless it gets cloudy, but it's clear right now. It's a little windy and a little cool, which is a nice change. And then we're going to go down over Pierce and take Mount Clinton Trail out, back down to Dry River Trail. So we'll come out about 3 miles up and come down. There are 2 water crossings that are, I don't want to say problematic. Hopefully they won't be problematic, but the one further up on the Dry River is when we get onto the Mount Eisenhower Trail, and that one can be really, really difficult. We've done it a few times. We've always made it across. Hopefully it won't be, I won't have to wait or anything. We'll see. And then the other one is quite a wide one where Mount Clinton comes down. That one has not been a problem for us. We've only done that one once. It's a long, wide section of the Dry River that has a lot of rocks in it. So I'm sure that there's a channel on one side that could be a problem, but I don't think it will be. I think that's going to be rock hoppable, and it's going to be at the end of the day. So if we have to get wet, then that's fine too. Other than that, we're excited to go visit the Mount Eisenhower Trail, which is a new trail for us. And yeah, I believe that Mount Washington Observatory has a wind chill warning in effect until noon, as the winds are quite high. It's under 60 degrees right now at the car. I think that the lows overnight were in the 20s up on Mount Washington. So it's definitely not feeling like summer today, but I'm here for it. I'm happy. We are up where the wilderness sign is, and you pop out. This is your first look out on the Dry River. And part of why we're doing this hike is because there was a big storm in December, and the Dry River tends to be affected greatly by big storms. So last time we were here, I'm sure I have video, that this area right here was like an awesome swimming hole. This was like perfect. I think there were people swimming here when we were here, maybe. And now the water is coming down from the other side. It's totally changed. So curious to see what the rest of the changes are like. Yeah, the trail was already in pretty bad shape from Hurricane Irene in 2011, with big sections that had kind of eroded down into the river. The banking was really kind of sketchy to walk across. So we'll see what it's like now. I'm just surprised that area is right here is just so affected. This whole thing was really nice deep swimming holes up in here. And that is about 0.7 miles in on the Dry River Trail. Pretty sure this is newly eroded. The trail ends right where I am right here. It should go out, and I think it's supposed to go up. There's a little bit of some herd path up, so that's how we're gonna go. This is like I don't even know, 10 or 15 foot drop right here. Okay. That's why the Dry River is an adventure. We are 1.65 miles in at the suspension bridge that crosses the Dry River. Ooh, it bounces. This is a good place to have a bridge, I'd say. And we just encountered a hiker who was coming out after staying overnight up at the shelter. It's way up on Dry River. We're not going that far today. All right. So we had a couple places that were the trail was kind of washed out, or it went right along the drop where it was all eroded. So if you're afraid of heights, this might not be the trail for you. But they were short areas. Okay, and before we just descended to come back down to the water, we had a view looking up this way, and you could see Monroe had been in the clear and Washington and Boot Spur were in a cloud, and this cloud came right over Monroe while we were watching. I can still see there's cloud up there, so we'll see if we end up going to Eisenhower or not. We're definitely summiting Pierce because we have to go over it, but if Eisenhower is in a cloud, we probably will just go around it. Okay. Now, if I remember correctly, once we're on this side of the dry river, there's not really the erosion problem as much, and you're certainly not up high on a bank. I don't think. Maybe one spot, but not like it was back there, because some of those were like 40, 50-foot drops. It was not good. Okay, we're gonna keep moving. We're 3 miles in now. We're past the split where Mount Clinton Trail crosses. And looking up at it, looks like it's going to be an okay crossing today on the way back. This is a spot where Hurricane Irene washed out the trail. So the trail ends right here, and then it would have gone over here. Looks like the clouds cleared out. Yeah, I think so too. So we're going around. But this was like this a couple years ago when we came through. So it's been like this. There's an established route around it now. Yes, there is. It doesn't look very established. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think we crossed the top of it last time. Did we not? I think we had to go out on the top of it last time. No?
We're gonna go over there.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go up here.
Oh.
And across Noble.
Let me see. Ooh, I don't like that. I think last time I went like right across, because the trail is right there. But John is smarter to go up. No, I'm not going that way. I'm going where you are. And I'm going to use 2 hands. Wow. I don't think it was quite that eroded last time.
Hold there for a second.
Okay. Yikes. Very cool though. Really love it. Feels very wild. We are 3.5 miles in roughly, and we just had a little crossing of a tributary. And right back behind there is... Oh yeah, I can see it actually, but I'm not drilled in. There's a sign for a campsite, and there was also one earlier right after the split for Mount Clinton Trail. So there are legal campsites out here, and when we get up to the junction area with Isolation and where does the trail go from here?
I think it's gonna go up there.
There's a cairn right here, but then what? It's a little tricky. Oh, I think it goes up this way. I remember now. There are legal campsites down there where around the junction of Mount Isolation Trail. I think there's several. And coming down Mount Clinton, there's also a few. Where does it go?
Where does it go?
I think I need to consult my GPS. It goes, yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't it go right here? I think we came the other direction the last time we were on here.
Oh, yeah.
The time you fell when you were videoing. So I think, oh yeah, okay. I think it was around this area where you wiped out. It was wet. Okay, so there have been a couple spots where you're like, is this the trail? And they've marked things with cairns to say, hey, start over, you're coming this way, but then they don't mark it the next spot. and you're in like a drainage trying to figure out where to go. So if you have access to an online map, it's a good thing. Or a paper map, but a paper map doesn't have the granularity to show you, you know, which direction. All right, it sounds like we're heading away from the river, but we're definitely gonna have to cross it again. We're now at the junction of Isolation Trail West, which goes up to Davis Path, and Dry River Trail, and somehow we got off. There's a tributary of the Dry River right there, and we were coming along the other side of it, and I said, oh, I think we can cross there. It looks really easy, but there was also a beaten path. I mean, it looked just like the trail. So we ended up coming up here and then realizing this isn't the right way, and then kind of bushwhacking down, but really I was probably on Isolation Trail for that little bit. Okay, so this area is a little confusing. There's a lot of little herd pathy things also when you, how close are we to the split? Yeah. Okay. So
we never really got on
the
Isolation Trail.
So this line is where we should have been, and we just did that little loop. And then, oh yeah, we didn't actually get on it. And then how far up is the
2/10?
And then up here, this area is also a big mess with little trails and campsites and stuff. So we have to be careful up there too. And I think there's a bunch of little water crossings. Once you get through the big one, you have to cross a bunch of times, I think. We shall see. Okay. Well, that was a little more confusing than it was in the past, and I don't know if it's just me or if things have changed. I think a part of it is that there are more people hiking now, and so if one person gets off trail, it can make the next guy follow them, and suddenly it looks like the trail, but it's not. Okay, so 2/10, we should be doing a big water, well, hopefully it's not a bad water crossing, but it's usually pretty tricky. We'll go see. We're now at the split for Mount Eisenhower Trail, and it's kind of weird. You think it's going to be a left, but it's really a sharp left if you're coming up, and it goes right down this drainage to start with. This is the crossing now, so it's marked with an arrow, which is weird because you come this way, it's on the wrong side of the tree, and there's a cairn on the other side over there, and it looks like it's going to be pretty easily hopped. If I were him, I'd go to, I'm watching, go ahead, go to the left, yep. Perfect, wow, that is so much easier than it's been in the past. And up here, it's flowing pretty well. Okay, we're gonna water up and then keep going.
No problem.
No problem. We are now at the split for Dry River Cutoff, which goes kind of downhill here, and then it will climb and come out near Mitzvah Hut. Is that where it comes out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitzvah Spring Hut.
Yeah. And then Mount Eisenhower Trail. So we've taken Dry River Cutoff before, but we've never taken this part of Mount Eisenhower Trail, which is the only part we've taken is the little junction back there. It's a couple tents. Okay, so new trail, and I'm gonna try to shoot some of it because one of my viewers used to maintain this trail. So shout out to Richard. We'll see what kind of condition it's in. And this will take us out on Crawford Path, right near very close to the Eisenhower Loop, Summit Loop, the end that is closer to Mount Washington. So far, so good. I'm glad we're climbing. instead of going down when I have to go up. We'll see. It seems to be quite dry, so that's good too. And has a little bit of moose activity. Hard to see, but looks like a moose slid right through here. All right. This is really lovely. We're still up on Mount Eisenhower Trail, but man, it is really nice. The woods are really lovely. I'm enjoying this a lot. I'm in a little bit of mud right here. Whoa, slippery. But it has been really nice. It helps that it's breezy and cool and there are no bugs. But even if it were hot and buggy, it's really beautiful. We're about 7¼ miles in now, and we're still on Mount Eisenhower Trail. We're about 50 feet of elevation. So I expect we'll be coming out of the trees in short order. We followed a pretty good sized moose all the way up to like 4,100 feet. Then it looks like it went off to the side downhill. And now we've picked up a smaller moose. So also heading uphill. They're definitely out in this area. The woods has really been really beautiful and quite open. I know that people have seen moose on the summit of Eisenhower, which really blows me away, but this is really kind of a easy way up for them. It's beautiful. Just encountered this guy laying in the middle of the trail. He's still alive. Ooh, but he's barely alive. He's holding onto a stick. Oh, he is in bad shape. Oh, okay. Sorry, buddy. Put you there. All right. We also just saw a humongous toad. I've seen a bunch of them today. We're still on Mount Eisenhower Trail. And I think we'll be popping out of the trees shortly. It's really been beautiful. We are on Mount Eisenhower Trail still. We just exited the presidential dry river wilderness. Isolation. Over here. Chicoroa. Got Passaconaway and Whiteface and the Tri-Pyramids out in the distance. Kerrigan right between these two trees right there. Cool. All right, oh, that's right over here. Oh, I can hardly see. There's right behind this tree is Willie. And kind of in the foreground is the edge of the presidentials. The southern presidentials. So let's see. We're not really out of the. I mean, this is like alpine kind of Krumholtz starting. I think we're less than 1/10 of a mile from the junction with, oh, there you go. Let me put down one of my poles. Monroe. And then Boot Spur over here. And I think, I have to look, I think Slide Peak is this one right here. Here comes John. And the edge of where we're going, Franklin, I guess, is right there.
Franklin's
That's
right
Franklin.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So this is a nice trail. It really was. I think that these are cool, these blowdown areas down here in the Dry River. If you take the Dry River Trail and continue up, oh, it's really hard to see on my screen. It looks like you can see 2 different drainages that come down Oaks Gulf. And I think the trail basically goes up this left-hand one, and then you get up into the scree fields and stuff. It's wet and beautiful, has all kinds of cool boggy kind of flowers up there. And then you pop out by Lakes of the Cloud, one of the Lakes of the Clouds, and come across to Lakes of the Cloud Hut. That's a fun trail too. Oh, there's a cool blowdown area right in front of me too, down in here. All right, wow, this was great.
It's a cool trail.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And then we're gonna go down to Mitzpah Hut and take Mount Clinton, which we've only taken that once, and it was descending, and that was also a really nice trail. So I'm pretty excited about our trails today. And I like to get into Dry River Wilderness and the Dry River Trail just because it's so remote and changes with the storms and things. So it was nice to get out there and see what's changed. And really, the only thing that I noticed in that first 5 miles was the very first place where we popped out on the river that had been redirected, but everything else I thought was pretty much the same from prior to the big storm in December. All right, we're gonna have a beer and then hit the summit. I think this is like the first place we've been all day that's not blasting with wind. So
That's ironic, huh?
yeah, I think the summit will be really, really windy though. So let's not do that. This is Kearsarge North right there. Okay, we just came up about 30 feet from where I just shot that video. Now I have a clear view of Eisenhower right there, and oh, I can't see it now there. Oh, I see a cairn actually. Crawford Path goes right along here. I could see some people on it. We're very close to the junction. Okay. Wow, nice day too. It's like perfect conditions, I think. We are at the junction where we decide whether we're going to go over Eisenhower or around it. And we have decided to go around it today because the wind down here in the call is like 35, I would say. It's difficult to walk in it. And it's only going to be higher up there. So we want to get one summit, one 4,000 footer today, and we will get Pierce, because we have to go over Pierce. Woo. So, see you later, Eisenhower. Lots of stuff blooming up here. We have, what is it, 3-leaved golden thread. All these little white guys right here. Bunch of Labrador tea. This right here is Greenland stitchwort. Oh, what's the other name? I said it already. What's it do to you, John? I don't remember now. Mountain sandwort. That's the other name. Yeah, all kinds of little things. Got some bunchberry right here. All right. I have a feeling up there would be pretty hairy in that wind. Hi, come on up. We're approaching the summit now of Pierce, and this is a nice view out to Jefferson, Clay, Eisenhower, Washington with Monroe and Franklin in front of it. Boot Spur, Slide Peak. The side of the bald face is sticking up over here and around. All right, the summit is going to be right up through here. And then we're going to continue past the summit and head out towards Mitzvah Hut. This is the summit. And there's a Junco. Trail continues out this way. We are at Mitzvah Hut now and getting onto Mount Clinton Trail, which is kind of tricky. The sign for it is not, this sign is good, but the sign back there points like out towards the tent site. It's weird. So poke around if you're trying to get on. Make sure you go in the right direction. Yeah, you have to go through the field to get to it. All right, so we've been on this before. The top part is exactly as I remember it, which is kind of wet and overgrown. There were a bunch of blowdowns last time. And then it splits off. Oh, look, this is twin flower. Oh, something borealis. Linnea borealis, I think. So each one of these stalks has 2 flowers on it. That's cool. It's kind of circumpolar. Well, my battery died while I was recording before, so I don't know if my other thing will be available, but right here is the hut, Mitzvah Hut. You come down through the field. It's not well marked. It's not correctly marked, I should say, up there. And there'll be a little tiny path. Once you get into the trees, there's a sign for Mount Clinton Trail, which is what we're on now. Dry River Cutoff is going to branch off in a couple tenths. And this right here is Linnea borealis, also known as twin flower. It has 2 flowers on each stalk, and it is widely distributed, circumpolar in the boreal forests. So there you have it, twin flower. I don't see it all that often, only up high, so I'm a little surprised it's this low, but there you have it. We're now at the split, so we're going to continue right down here. It's going to be nice. It might be a little slippy at the top, but not too bad. And then Dry River Cutoff goes that way. And if you recall from before, that will intersect the Mount Eisenhower Trail right after the water crossing of the Dry River. That trail, at least the last time, we've only done it once. Yes, just once. Once was enough, I would say, but I'll revisit it again, I'm sure. It was, we came up it very wet, very, very overgrown. Like, crazy overgrown. It was easy to follow, but really nasty. I think that it had been raining too, so everything, you just got soaked. All right, so coming down this, top part has like rocks with moss on them, which the last time we did this, it was wet and that was very slippery. But pretty quickly, we're gonna get onto like an old skidder road and it's gonna be amazing. So I'm looking forward to this trail. See if it is as good as I remember it. So far, I'm thinking that Mount Eisenhower Trail is the best of the three, but this might give it a run for its money. We'll see. I mean, Eisenhower, that trail was beautiful. So, and it didn't really have any water crossings on it, except for the dry river one. But this one also crosses dry river. Yeah, see, now we're in the good stuff. But the woods aren't quite as pretty, I would say. I think Mount Eisenhower had prettier forest. But this is not too shabby. This is still Mount Clinton Trail, and in case anyone thinks that it was all beautiful like this, it wasn't. We hit a nice section at the top, and I thought, oh, okay, good. That's what I remember about this trail, was stuff like this. And it almost immediately got the way that I remember Dry River Cutoff being, which is moss-covered rocks and wet. So that was disappointing. But you do come back to this. How long was that section, do you think?
It was about 7/10.
Was it really that long? Man.
Maybe less.
Yeah, I was going to say a half a mile, but it was not a super short section. It was quite long. But today it's quite dry, so it wasn't particularly slippy, but you just have to be a little more diligent when you're on that kind of stuff. And we picked up moose up there too, so they're out here. They've been on Dry River, Mount Eisenhower, and Mount Clinton for sure. We are coming to the end of Mount Clinton Trail, and John and I agree that it was kind of a disaster, and we don't remember why we liked it so much last time, because I clearly had trail amnesia. It did have a couple sections that were really nice, but most of it wasn't nice. And at the bottom you have to cross a brook several times, and in the White Mountain Guide I believe it says you cross 7 times, and we crossed 11.
I lost track.
I stopped counting when we started getting lost, because there were cairns at almost all of the water crossings, or it was super obvious where you would go. And then, what is that right there? This. It's a piece of.
Yeah,
it's metal. It's an artifact. I think it's a flattened bucket, edge of a bucket or something. Anyway, cool. We got to a water crossing that didn't have any cairns, and the trail just ended, and we were like, do we cross this? We went across, and then we couldn't see the trail. We ended up going all over the place. It was a crossing, and then it happened again.
There was one time when we crossed, so we shouldn't have.
It was, oh yeah, and I remember this. There's a marker on I believe that's cement sticking up there. So this is going to be the crossing here. And the trickiest thing is how to get down to cross, because this is, yeah, look at this. Holy smokes. So I'm not climbing down that. That's like 15 feet. I believe there are some herd paths, and I'm personally going to go in the woods again and pop out someplace up there and get across, because this is way too deep, like steep. Yeah, I'm not doing it. You can just mosey on through. Are you going down there?
I don't know. I'm gonna take a look.
It looks like the water's not great for crossing there either. So we looked at our old tracks, and I actually remembered a couple of those places where we wandered around. Okay, let's see how this looks. Lots and lots of moose activity on that trail. Okay. Now, if I get down here, though, where do I go? That's the question. I can make it across there. Okay. I'm going to get down right here, and then I'm going to cross right there. Yeah? All right. Okay, so now we are kind of in the center. I could just cross, I think, but we don't want to get off of this. There's a cairn way down behind John. If we cross here, then the trail is like not near here. We got to be further down. So we're going to do that. And this is where we came in, right here. And this is where they wanted us to come out, over there. All right. Woo! That's good. We are right at the junction with Saco River Trail. It says a half a mile to the Route 302, Mount Eisenhower. Yeah, 4.5. So it was 5 according to the sign to get there. And I think mine was 5.1, something like that. Okay. So, yeah, we're almost done. Thank God this is nice walking here. I guess I really was blocking out how terrible Mount Clinton Trail was. It was not pleasant. What is that right there? That's weird. What can I say? Mount Eisenhower Trail, highly recommend. That was beautiful. Definitely go up that again. Oh, this is a walk around. Oops. And it's going to be about 15 and a half miles, give or take a few tenths. Beautiful day. Dry River was the same as always. You know, Mount Clinton, we got lost on a few times, like 3, 4, a bunch of times, which is not normal for us to get lost. And
Well, it's not blazed. It's not
yeah,
hard.
it's not blazed. There were
It's all over the place.
there were cairns. I think we got lulled into thinking there would be better markings at all of the water crossings, because like the first 7 were marked well, and then after that it just, I don't know what happened. There were no markings, and there's a lot of herd paths and kind of open woods down there, and probably they are actually herd paths because there was a lot of moose activity. And I don't know, it was a couple of the places were places where we had gotten off trail the last time we did it. So it's clearly an ongoing issue. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But the water crossings were good. Didn't see anybody. We saw one person coming out from overnighting in the morning up at the shelter, Dry River Shelter. And then I think we saw 9 people basically up on the ridge. A couple AT through hikers and mostly day hikers. Nice hike.